federal government has conjured up a system of health transfers which have been put in place with absolutely no consultation with the provinces. Over the next 10 years, Nova Scotia will lose $902 million. I was wondering if Mr. Thompson or anyone can give a justification for that.
A difficult one in terms of the fact that it is targeted towards federal policy decision and the direction. But what I can state unequivocally is, there are some concerns. It was one of the questions tonight about the Liberal position to restructure the health authority. And one of the motivations for doing that is because we fully expect that the current health accord is expiring in about 2 years' time in 2015, and we are fully expecting significant reductions in the federal funding of our healthcare system. And so we have to start planning today to address those reductions in funding so that we can have as sustainable a system as we can possibly have going forward with those reduced funds. Is it fair? Is it appropriate? Is it going to be a challenge? Well, it's not really fair. It is going to be a challenge. And we have to start planning for it today, and that is what the Liberal platform on health is all about, is starting to use our money as effectively and efficiently as we can today, because we expect those cuts to be coming tomorrow.
This is one area where the provincial Progressive Conservatives and the federal Conservatives will agree to disagree. Jamie Bailey has been on record saying that what's one of the first things he's going to be addressing is try to negotiate or address these type of issues, because with our population, the aging demographics that we face, healthcare is not going to get cheaper, and doesn't necessarily get cheaper anyway, but the demographics, particularly in Nova Scotia, in the rural areas of Nova Scotia, is not going to be any easier going forward, and we need to be able to have the appropriate funding, but also prepare for these efficiencies going forward, such as the reduction of the health authorities in preparation for any shortfalls that we may face. But that is one of his priorities, and that's one of the first things he's going to do when he becomes the...
I'm going to ask another health question. Particularly, this is actually from the Public Health Association of Nova Scotia. And it's really about how poverty adversely affects health. But in 2006, the government of Nova Scotia approved the renewal of public health in Nova Scotia, building a public health system to meet the needs of Nova Scotians. The report identified that the investments and infrastructure necessary to strengthen public health system and ensure that the capacity to promote and protect the health of Nova Scotians. A mid-course review conducted in 2011 demonstrated that considerable progress had been made towards meeting the 21 recommendations. However, there's been a reduction in the overall budget allocated to public health programs in Nova Scotia, a 1.5. It's only 1.5 of the overall health services budget, including healthcare. So what's your party prepared to do to ensure the ongoing renewal of public health systems in Nova Scotia?
Service. We're funding that. We spend in healthcare in Nova Scotia $6.1 billion a year. I'm not, we need to partner certainly with our public health stakeholders, if that's the right word, or partners, I guess. I'm not in any way going to suggest that I can tell you today or tonight how the $6.1 billion is going to be spent. That's not my department. I can't say that, but I do understand the need to make sure that we have the resources in terms of public health supports. And I don't know that you talk about a 1.5 cut. I don't know the implication of that in terms of, this is not something that I'm familiar with, so I can't really say more than that, my understanding is that with $6.1 million billion dollars being spent in Nova Scotia, we're doing as much as we can on the health front.
I was at the AGM for GASHA just last week, and Dr. Robert Strang, the Chief Public Health Officer, was there and made a presentation. And it was a great presentation. He presented on something that I think, I can't say definitively will fix healthcare problems, but it's certainly a proposal that warrants looking into. And it builds on the notion of evidence-based medicine. I'm familiar with that from a slightly different perspective, evidence-based management. What the essence of that and those areas are that we make decisions based on evidence, on research. What does the data actually say? I'm not going to go into a lecture like I normally do with my classes, but essentially there are a lot of things we take for granted as the right thing that when you actually look at the data and the research and the evidence, it shows a very different reality. And what Dr. Strang really emphasized was the evidence-based in the public health space is that investing in prevention goes far, or much farther than investing in health care. So investing in initiatives that can help reduce emergencies will go farther than investing in more emergency rooms or staff within the emergency rooms. So identifying those opportunities to invest in preventative medicine or preventative health initiatives will be one way that we can free up resources and use our resources more efficiently and effectively so that we have a better healthcare system for everybody today, tomorrow, and through the future. Thanks.
With the budget for healthcare increasing what it seems like exponentially, throwing more money at healthcare is not always the answer. We have to have the sufficient resources necessary to provide all our funds, but I would agree that basically the way to do that properly is through education and prevention. With myself as a physiotherapist, I preach it every day. It's easier to treat something before it happens, and then after it happens. It's easier on the patient. It's cheaper in the long run. It's cheaper for the system. It's much easier on the person themselves. So I do preach that myself on a regular basis in my professional life. But public health would play a major role in that, both for all levels, whether it be the elderly, whether it be the youth, or any group that needs their services. So I think that is the way forward. I think investment in this area is important. And I think we have to be able to make sure that we utilize these funds properly, and prevention education down the road is one of the best ways of controlling costs for healthcare going forward.
Hello, my name is Karen Briand, and I've worked in mental health care for 25 years. And I guess I wanted to ask was, I looked over the poster presentation of the poverty reduction. I see all those 9 areas certainly have impact on the clients that I've dealt with over the years. In 2012, there was a release of the mental health strategy, which was long years in coming and well overdue. And we've passed the first year of it, and it has 2 more years channel to go. I guess I'm just curious if you could speak to what you think, or what your government's position, what your party's positions are in relation to a mental health strategy for the province.
I don't have the party's position on hand this evening. I think we're here prepared for the questions that were prepped, but I can give you my personal one. I'll be attending later this week a session at the public library with a group of people discussing and dealing with some of those issues. I can tell you that I've personally been touched, as many people here likely have, either through family or friends, with a wide range of mental health issues. So I'm very much in tune with the need to address these challenges. I'm very much aware of the effect that the mental health challenges that affect, and it can be absolutely anyone. This is not an issue that affects, it does not see an income differentiator. I mean, there just very recently a friend's father has been crippled with depression, and that's not an income separator, it just hits. And so I'm very sensitive to it, very much as an individual committed to, this is one of my personal, again, I can't speak to the party's platform on it, I haven't prepared that here, but I am personally very, very much in tune, aware, and committed to working with community groups on mental health issues here. So I look forward to working with you as your MLA on those issues.
This has become more and more of a topic around our household, I guess, because my wife is becoming more and more involved in the mental health side of healthcare. She has a special interest in this area, and we've had many conversations at home about the many issues facing the community. I think the awareness within the community is growing. I think it's a problem that's been there for quite some time. We are just learning more and more about it all the time, and the awareness towards it is gratifying. It's nice to see. I think everybody has heard of the park bench players. I think that's done wonders for the awareness around the issues of mental health. And it's things like that that get the conversation going. And I think we'll all benefit from keeping that conversation going and working towards solutions and proper support for people with mental health.
I just want to say on this issue, as Karen said, that this is a new strategy that the government has just introduced. It's a year in. It's been a long-awaited policy. We have come up with some plans for dealing with issues, and it's just rolling out now. So as I said, I think it's the early days, but we are committed, obviously, because we've introduced the policy of making this an important part of the kind of work that we'll be doing on a go-forward basis. So thank you.